Hi, how you doing today? Happy African History Month. Welcome to day 14. It's February 14th, 2018. Today I want to talk a little bit about Black leadership and lessons we can learn in history about Black leadership. I'm reminded of this because I'm looking today, well, not just today, but recently. I've seen certain individuals who have high profile within the Black communities, higher profiles within the Black community. I've seen back and forth, I've seen bickering, I've seen accusations flying, I've seen moves that look very suspect. I've seen some things that I think that's we really have to be using, taking a look at Black history, taking a look at history to learn lessons about certain things we should be doing going forward and certain things we shouldn't be doing. And there's warning signs we should be looking at. Some particular one of the aspects I want to talk on, I want to discuss, was in terms of Black leaders, how Black leaders should be dealing with one another. We've seen leaders get murdered because they were making too much of an impact. But even beyond their murders, we've seen what's like led up to them, and in some cases, it was, fighting from one another or within our own community that precipitated this. Whether or not somebody outside is pulling the strings, the fact that we've allowed certain animosities and certain conflicts to arise and to grow led to, to a situation being ripe where where people could be manipulated to take actions on, that are in somebody else's interest, but individuals have been manipulated, or in a prime space to be manipulated to say you need to take that dude out because he's talking about this person. And the number one thing I think we need to realize is ego. Ego can have no place within a movement designed to improve the Black community. This is bigger than any of us. This is bigger than any one of us. This is not about us as individuals. This is about the community as a whole. This is about crimes that were committed against Black people for hundreds of years. These are about crimes that still exist and injustices that still exist today. And so if somebody, is, whether it be a self-appointed Black leader or whether other people look up to them as a Black leader, we have to be careful, those of us who are looking up to this person or recognize this person as a Black leader, not to make it all about this person, and Black leaders need to be careful not to let this become about us. So if a person is in a position of leadership, is in a position to affect change, that person as a leader needs to realize they're just a part of the puzzle. It's important never to get to the point where any of us as individuals start to believe this is my show. Listen to my fans. This is about me. Because the second, and the rest of us need to notice this, the second we realize that type of ego existing, we need to shut that person down. We need to step away from that person. And that, when I mean by shut this person down, I mean step away from this person. We cannot now enable that behavior or trust this person to put the needs of the community ahead of their own self-aggrandizement, because that makes them a prime suspect, a prime target for manipulation by outside forces. And I look at that. There's cases in history where individuals, their ego appears to have gotten in the way and stopped them from working with somebody who actually was genuinely concerned about the state of black people and black people's well-being, and say, well, this person doesn't like me, or this person isn't doing things the way I like it, so I'm going to attack this person. I'm going to try to tear them down. And all that does is set back movements. All that does is set back progress. All that does is create division and create cracks in the foundation to allow somebody else to come in and blow everything up. In addition to not letting ego take place, it's we need to be careful as to look to one individual as a savior. We need to stop looking for a messiah. We need to be leaders together. So we need to all be leading and working in furtherance of rebuilding and healing the black community. And it's important to realize that there's going to be different things that are needed to do so. It's not going to be, there's not one way that it's going to magically be fixed. It's going to take work. It's going to take people that are focused on spiritual health. It's going to take people who are focused on financial health. It's going to take people who are worried about our political strength and our political power. It's going to take many aspects to undo hundreds of years of systematic, organized terror and war being waged on black people. It's going to take a lot to fix that, to counteract that, to stop that. It's not going to take one person saying, okay, I'm arrived. Here's how it goes down. And this is the way it has to be done. And if it's not done my way, you're a sellout. You're not. Because once somebody starts talking like that, that's somebody who's getting in the way, because they're trying to stop other individuals from doing what they're doing and what they're trying to do to help the community heal, to advance, to become better, to become stronger, to rebound from somebody trying to keep us down. And so that's why I think it's important to look at current events in terms of historical, through a historical lens, because none of this is new. None of this is new. It's just new actors, new characters in the same old play. But we need to, knowing that, we need to be, make sure that we're not doing the same old things. We're not making the same old mistakes. We're doing what worked and leaving the nonsense behind that didn't. This nonsense behind that led to movements breaking down, that led to splinters and fractures, bring down entire movements. We need to stop that. We need to make sure that we're not making the same mistakes over and over again. And there's specific stories that I will relate back to. You've got the death of Malcolm X. You've got the relationship between Malcolm X and Malcolm, first adversarial, then later on cooperative. But there's so many figures that were gaining so much strength, gaining so much power in terms of what they could accomplish, and seeing how those movements failed is essential to making sure we don't continue to fail. So I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Happy African History Month, and I will see you tomorrow.